Here at Worn & Wound, we love Zenith. They're one of our favorite brands, and this year they did something that we've been waiting for them to do for literally years. They finally introduced new dive watches into the collection. Here we have the ZENITH Defy Extreme Diver. My name's Zach Kazan. I'm managing editor at Worn & Wound. I'm joined by Griffin Bartsch, contributor at Worn & Wound, and today we're going to be talking about the new ZENITH Defy Extreme Diver.
Yeah, so I've had the ZENITH Defy Extreme Diver on hand for a couple weeks now. I've had a ton of fun with it, and it's one of those watches that as soon as I saw the press release drop at Watches and Wonders, I knew I needed to spend some time with it. It felt like a new realm for Zenith that they'd been missing, a new dimension to the brand that really needed some attention.
I mean, they've been missing a diver for a long time. So there's that. You know, of course, adding a dedicated dive watch to the collection. What is it about this watch that makes it special to you?
So for me, the big thing that especially sets it apart from the revival that was released at the same time is the modernity of it. There are very few watches on the market that feel like they hit this exact area. To me, my first instinct looking at this watch was that it was halfway between a Royal Oak Offshore and something from Doxa. It was loud, it was colorful, it was angular. It felt like a new take on what a Zenith dive watch could be. Specs helped that it was a fully capable dive watch, that they came out of the gate with not one, but two dive watches, 600 meter water resistant and completely capable was great. But I've always had more interest in watches from Zenith, like the Skyline, that feel like a reinterpretation of that classic Zenith aesthetic and capability. And this felt like it hit all those marks. Plus, orange and blue is just a great color.
Yeah, it's a really fun color where the dial has this like really cool kind of like shimmery quality to it. It has the star motif, which is it's directly borrowed from the Skyline collection, as you mentioned. So it's really kind of in a lot of ways like a bigger, bulkier Skyline with a bezel, but it also feels like a completely purpose-made dive watch.
The Extreme name is nothing new to Zenith. Over the last few years, we've seen a lot of chronographs that are carrying that title, and there's been a through line with them. They're bigger, they're bolder, they're more angular, just like this, but those have all skewed towards skeleton dials, camos, various carbon materials, and it's nice to see them take that premise and apply it to something a little closer to center.
Yeah.
And something that I've found I can wear this every day, which is helped, of course, by the extra straps that come with it.
Yeah, so tell us about the strap system, because that was one of the things that really impressed me when I saw this watch at Watches and Wonders a few months ago, is they've really thought through the different types of straps that you might wear. We have it here on a fabric strap, a pass-through strap, which is kind of unusual for a watch in this category.
Yeah, and this is undoubtedly my favorite. It's the one I've been wearing the most. It's remarkably comfortable. It attaches to the watch using an interchangeable lug system, which here features interchangeable end links, like you'd find on a Tudor FXD or any number of CWCs and really high-grade dive watches. And it gives the whole thing a much more toolish, utilitarian look that I really enjoy. Plus, I just love a fabric NATO strap. I wear them constantly. But it's nice to have the ability to swap it out. The bracelet, like every bracelet from Zenith, is really comfortable, remarkably well executed. The whole package is made in grade 5 titanium, so it wears light, wears comfortably. On the bracelet or on the rubber, it wears close to the wrist, so the size, while not a huge watch, it's hefty, and it's
about 42.5 millimeters?
42.5 millimeters, 15.5 millimeters thick, which is definitely on the denser side.
600 meters of water resistance, though, so it's when you consider the depth rating, it's actually a fairly, moderate.
It's a totally reasonable size, especially once you have it in person. And even more so by the integrated bracelet and rubber strap. Outside of the fabric strap, I find myself wearing it on the rubber the most. It's summer, it's hot in New York. It's just remarkably comfortable on rubber. It breathes. It's got a really well ventilated rubber strap with a nice deployant clasp, still with a pin buckle, so it's really easy to change and adjust the sizing of the watch, which is something that I should note is harder to do with the bracelet, which features no quick adjust.
It always is a little bit harder with the bracelet. Even when it's easy, it's still a little bit more difficult.
But that's the nice thing. Swapping out the bracelet to the straps is so remarkably easy that I don't find myself carrying that the bracelet doesn't have quick adjust.
Yep.
Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment to talk about the bezel of this watch. One of the unique features of the Zenith's bezel is that it's fully externalized and fully made out of ceramic. It's a navy ceramic color, 120 click bezel that is amazingly easy to interact with because it really sits apart from the watch in a lovely way. And makes it one of the most functional bezels I've encountered in recent memory.
So it's a single piece bezel as opposed to a bezel assembly with an insert.
It's a single piece bezel that protrudes around the entire circumference of the watch and has a really nice tactile, I hesitate to call it knurling because it's ceramic, not metal, but that sort of grippy, toothy edge.
Yeah, very easy to grip and a very satisfying sound also, for sure. Retail price on this watch?
It's a hair over $11,000, comes with all 3 straps, and I know at first blush that might seem a little steep, but when you think about the competitors it's really facing up against,
the offshore
and that thing, it comes in way under all of those and offers a really nice midpoint between, if you're maybe ready to step up from a high-end micro brand dive watch in the kind of high 4-figure space, I don't quite want to make that jump to a $20,000-$30,000 high luxury sports watch. And it threads that needle beautifully in execution, in design, in technical features, and I have no complaints about it on that front.
Yeah. It's really like around the price sort of like a Rolex Submariner. It's kind of in that neighborhood, and it's such a different type of watch. It's one of those kind of like comparisons that really shows you like all you can get, like the variety at that price point. Fantastic, Griffin. Thank you so much for showing us the watch. It's really been a treat. We will have a lot more on this watch on the website. You can find a link below to Griffin's full review of the ZENITH Defy Extreme Diver. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you liked what you saw, and we will see you again next time.